How's it going, YouTube? I am on my morning commute to work right now. I'm here in pretty cold, frigid Arizona right now, which is uncharacteristic, but I'm at high elevation here at the current place I'm at, so it's pretty chilly. Anyway, I realized I'm coming up on almost a year of channel content and you know, just my place in the community and all that kind of stuff, and I felt like I wanted to do a video recapping all that and yeah, just kind of like reflecting, I guess. So I started it and I looked at my oldest video. It's actually only 10 months, but you know, it's close enough for me. Basically, I started around the winter time last year, and it's amazing to see where the channel has gone, and the community has, you know, also gone in a different direction. So it's pretty cool to see, you know, all that stuff, you know, after a year's time. So starting off, you know, I really didn't know what I was gonna do with this channel. I was just kind of showing off some EDC gear and things I like to use, that kind of thing, and it's still in that way a lot of the respects, the same way, but I also have tried to branch out and do different content based on my lifestyle and the things that I get into on a daily basis, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's been good, and I like to see, I would like to see, you know, here what I can do more and provide, you know, give a different perspective still. I have some different footage of a project that my wife and I were working on recently, and I just kind of had to figure out how to edit it all together into one seamless video. I'm usually not pretty good with that stuff. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but you know, I'm gonna try it anyway. So anyway, circling back around, I want to just give thanks to the entire community, and you know who you are, but you know, just as soon as I started doing this, it was immediate. I was almost, you know, embraced right away, and it was just a great feeling to have, you know, that sense again. I've realized in my life that community is a really big part of it for me. When I started the traveling lifestyle, my wife and I were loners. We were on our own doing our thing, still enjoying ourselves immensely, but you know, we always had that sense of we wanted some community, you know, friends who were doing it also or whatever, and we sought that out, and eventually, you know, we have a lot of friends on the road now that we've met, and we'll go and meet each other in different states and do different activities and that kind of stuff. You know, we just had Christmas, so we had Christmas dinner with some friends of ours that you know, we haven't seen in 2 years. We're actually, you know, kind of working together right now, so it was just cool. And so the YouTube community being that way, I enjoyed it a lot. You know, it's friends from a long distance, basically, and it's great. You know, it's great. You know, some of my closest friends now, just to name a few, is, you know, Richter Knives, Michael Richter in Texas. You know, he's my boy. He told me and taught me a lot of stuff about leather work, and you know, encouraged me along the way, and influenced a lot of my carry and stuff like that. You know, and you know, I'm grateful to have him as a friend. Erica's EDC, another one. She's the homie. She's always, you know, really enthusiastic and giving ideas and, you know, that kind of thing. She's very real, which I love in a person. You know, I need somebody who's gonna keep me grounded. You know, that's a huge thing for me, and so I like to surround myself with it. And so she's been a great help. Motown EDC, Bryson Hawkins, you know, he's another friend of mine that, you know, me and him started our channels almost at the same exact time, and it's cool to see us kind of just you know, flow along together and expand and, you know, do different things, try different gear together, that kind of stuff. You know, he's a big tool guy, so we talk tools every once in a while and projects. We're around the same age, I believe, so it's you know, it's just kind of like a brother there, you know. And so to have all those people in my life, you know, on a daily basis, just to shoot the shit with, or to chat or whatever it is cool. And I'm grateful to have them, you know, I just am. And you know, so let's segment a little bit into, you know, gear and stuff. I think I've learned a lot about my style and the things I like. You know, I've traded and moved around so many knives in the past 10 months, it's unreal. I started off, my first, you know, premium expensive knife that I owned was a Spyderco Paramilitary 2. It was a Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive with the lava flow scales, the carbon fiber, and I love that knife. Spyderco has always been, you know, in my heart since I owned one, and I've had my hands on quite a few of them over the time that I've, you know, handled knives and gear and stuff. So that was my big one, and that kind of segmented me into seeing what other people carry and other stuff, you know, that I might like. So I used to go on, you know, groups and YouTube a lot at the time and see what everybody else was carrying and stuff like that. And then I started to see, you know, the traditional knives, and I remember my first video that I ever saw with slip joints, I think, was Erica's EDC. She did a video about why she loves traditional knives, and she was living in a camper too at the time, and I was like, oh man, that's cool, you know, I do the same thing pretty much. I mean, I realized her circumstances were different and she didn't choose it, which, you know, that's a whole other thing. But either way, I was like, you know, that's 2 check marks of community right there for me, basically. You know, somebody who might live the same lifestyle, somebody who works hard and uses their stuff pretty hard and that kind of thing. And I find myself doing that, you know, quite a bit now. I've gotten another job going. It's going pretty good so far. I'm back using my stuff quite a bit, which makes me happy. You know, there's a lot of times where in the lifestyle we just kind of end up hanging around a spot for a while, and we're not really getting into too much, just kind of relaxing, not spending money, and you know, not necessarily even in nature. You know, we spent the past month or so in Texas, and that was kind of like downtown Dallas almost. So I didn't really have the opportunities to be whipping out knives and, you know, starting fires and opening stuff as much and that kind of thing. So it's nice to get back into the work trade again and feel busy and using my stuff again, you know. So it's definitely nice. The job here, I'm definitely going to be able to use my steels more, my gear more, and, you know, see what they're capable of, which is cool. You know, there's no reason to use the money that we have on this kind of stuff if you're not going to, you know, see what it's capable of, in my mind at least. Now, there are some collector's pieces. You know, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your stuff, but I definitely think, you know, that the majority of my stuff, I'm all in on using it. You know, I want to see what it can do, and you know, that's how I get my enjoyment out of it. There's some stuff, you know, it's cool to look at, shiny, it looks good, whatever, you know. But to me, you know, the ultimate thing with pocket knives especially is it's a tool, and for me, that tool needs to get used. You know, it's just plain and simple for me, at least. You know, and you don't have to throw kind of crazy patinas on everything. You can light use stuff, you can cut boxes, you can do stuff that's not going to stain the blade and all that kind of jazz, and kind of get a balance going. And that's kind of also where I see myself sometimes. I get blades for a while and I won't even use it and get super tore up on it. I'll just use it lightly and kind of just, you know, walk into the water slowly with it, you know what I mean? So yeah, I've been finding my balance with how I use my things and how I want to use them. And another thing that's been cool to me lately is sharpening. Gotten really into sharpening a lot. I got some DMT diamond stones. I actually kind of screwed them up at one point, it seems like, so they're semi-functional, but I'm able to get a really good edge on stuff. I segmented back and forth this year with guided systems, like a Work Sharp Precision Adjust. I had one of those for a little while, and it was okay. It was easy, but I wasn't really grasping the point of sharpening and why I was doing what I was doing with it. So I went back and I had Japanese water stones for a while. That was my first sharpening set I owned, and I could never get my stuff figured out with those. So I tried to use those a little bit. It still was failing a lot. And then once I finally got rid of the Work Sharp and got the DMT stones, you know, I was able to use it on every steel and see, you know, kind of what I need to do without using them so abrasively. You know, the diamonds really take material off easily, so it doesn't take a lot of work to get your bevel and your burr going and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I say all that to say this, that I kind of know how to sharpen a knife now. It's enjoyable to me now. It's actually, you know, fun, and it's cool to learn that life skill. You know, in my mind, it's something that obviously if you're in this hobby, you're gonna have to learn at some point. Some people will send their stuff out to pros who do them for them, and I was like, I'm just not that guy. You know, I'm gonna learn how to do that on my own. So I got my head around that just recently. Actually, you know, I spent a good week really trying with a bunch of different steels, a bunch of different blade profiles, that kind of stuff, and I've honed that in. And maintenance as well is another thing I've learned. So I found some pretty good stuff for the carbon steels at a hardware store. It was easy kind of polish. It's basically like a Flitz, and yeah, that stuff has been handy for everything. I've used it not just with knives, but with different gear that I own to keep the rust off of stuff. You know, I usually have an assortment of tools in the back of my truck here that it just kind of sits no matter what the weather is. So it's hot, it's cold, it's damp, it's dry, whatever. And it kind of wears on my stuff occasionally, so I'll use that same polish and things like that and get everything kind of looking good. I don't go nuts over it, and I don't let myself lose sleep over it, I mean, but it's nice to kind of just know how to maintain your stuff, how to sharpen your stuff, how to keep it in good working condition, you know, and that way for the foreseeable future you'll have some really great gear. You can use it you know, as you want, and you'll see it, you know, many years to come, hopefully, with a lot of, you know, cool little scars and cool little blemishes and stuff like that on there. You know, that makes me happy to see stuff that I have bonded with. And it's even more so with me because the way that we travel, you know, I don't know what state I'm going to be in most of the time. I don't know where in that state. I don't know what time of year sometimes. And it's just cool that I make memories with these pieces of gear in these places just randomly, and I'll look back and think, you know, oh, you know, I used that blade for this, or I used that tool for that, or I remember when that broke, or whatever, you know, and I can kind of just reminisce a little bit, I guess. But I'm a little sentimental, I suppose. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really wanted to go over. You know, I talked about community, I've talked about my tastes, you know. I guess to circle around back on my tastes of gear and stuff, one thing I've learned is you know, that I really like a nice balance of mainly with knives. I like a nice balance of knives. So I've had some titanium folders. I've had, you know, some cheapy micarta like Spyderco folders. I've had pretty much a good majority of the patterns from Great Eastern Cutlery at this point. I've had some case knives. And recently I've gotten into fixed blades quite a bit. I've actually got one on me right now. I'm driving, so I'm not going to show it to you, but yeah, I got into fixed blades recently, and I've really been enjoying those quite a bit. I just kind of have to work on where I like to carry those. You know, I really want a pocket sheath in the worst way, but I don't know how to do clip slips in the pocket yet. I need to learn how to do that with my leather work, but once I narrow that down, I think I'll enjoy fixed blades quite a bit. For some reason, the belt is all right. I'm not like head over heels for it. It works in a lot of scenarios, but it also doesn't in other scenarios. You know, I like to have stuff a little bit. I mean, I'm in society once in a while, and to have a fixed blade on you is a little bit, you know, people get weird about that stuff. So to have something kind of tucked in the pocket, you just see a little bit of the handle popping out or that kind of thing, I think that's fine. Like normal folders and stuff, but just trying to work in where I like to have them is what I'm trying to say. Regardless of that fact, when I am using them, I enjoy them immensely. I usually have been using it with campfire tasks quite a bit, because that's basically where I've been at with fixed blades most of my life, is you know, backpacking and camping and that kind of thing. So that's the style of blades I'm after. EDC blades are also cool. I just got a Smith & Sons Braves. Let me take a drink real quick. My mouth's getting dry. All right. Yeah, I just got a Smith & Sons Brave, which is a smaller D2 little fixed blade with great ergonomics, and the steel actually holds up fantastic. That's part of the video I need to do, where I need to edit all those clips together. We used it for the project, and it held up really great. I'm really impressed with it. So that was one that kind of changed my mind a little bit into thinking, you know, you can do a small fixed blade in your pocket as your EDC, no doubt about it, and it, you know, will hold up to the task, even if you have to do something more bruntish or hard, you know, in your day. you know, whether it's just opening a package or whether you're, you know, gonna start your campfire at night, or you're gonna do whatever. You know, you have that capability then, which is nice. You know, with folders you don't necessarily. You know, they can fail, they will fail at certain points. They're just not made for that. But I've worked them in, I've been enjoying them. The steels from these custom makers have been really eye-opening as well. Like the one I have on me is in crew wear, and the hardness is just fantastic. The heat treat on it was done really well. Just the ergonomics of it, the geometry of the blade itself is fantastic. It's a flat ground. The primitive bare knives I'm talking about, Hunter's EDC, and it's opening my eyes to see what blade steel is really capable of. You know, that's the kind of stuff that makes you want to nerd out on this and test it and see how far it can go, basically. You know, it's really capable of more than you think it is. And traditional steels are fantastic. They're fun to use, you know, the carbon steels, but the super steels are just as fun to me. You know, I've always, as a kid, wanted a knife that the edge never went, and now I'm finally, you know, I'm going on 30 years old here pretty soon, and I'm able to have that kind of steel, and the industry has progressed so far that I'm able to find that and use that stuff, you know, and it's cool. You know, I really enjoy that. So I'm gonna keep down that journey and keep trying different custom makers blades here, probably maybe this year, maybe not. Another thing I'm kind of transitioning to right now is the new year starting, and I have just a lot of life stuff coming up, you know. So I'm gonna be taking on a pretty big job. My wife and I have decided that, my wife and I have discussed it and agree on it, is I'm gonna go for wildland firefighting in Colorado this summer. God willing, I get the job and stuff. That'll be a big deal. I'll be working a lot. You know, those are long hours. It's a dangerous job, and it's going to kind of set us up in a position where me and her want to, you know, look at land. We want to maybe, you know, talk about having a family, that kind of stuff. So that's all money expenses, right? And the EDC stuff is fun. It's enjoyable. I've loved it as a hobby. I always will. But I also need to start, you know, justifying anything, you know, that way if I'm going to be buying anything or that kind of thing. So I want to just take a few steps back. You know, I've talked in the past, I really have my collection dialed in the way I want anyway, for the most part. I'm always down to try new gear. I love to try new gear and stuff, but I say all that to say that I might just do a no spend year, you know, and just not be buying anything. I don't think that it's justifiable, you know, with the things that we have coming up. You know, I still have bills, and we're going to be adding more to it if we get into this stuff. So it's just got to make sense, basically. You know, we don't work a full-time, all-year-round job. We're always kind of changing and doing different things. So we have to watch our money. We have to watch our expenses, especially. So I'm going to try to do this year where it just I take a step back, I let things happen. You know, if I have makers or anybody who wants to send me things to test out, that kind of thing, I will, obviously, because I'm not spending anything. But I'm going to try to just use the gear I have as much as I can and test things, the stuff I do have, and just kind of keep it simple. You know, I'm also going to try to transition into, you know, my repair projects I get into, stuff with the camper. I've talked about this a little bit. I just haven't done anything besides this video that I'm piecing together. So I'm just gonna see where that takes me. It's gonna be slow going probably until I figure it all out, but that's the goal for the year. I think I'm gonna try to put a new foot into the new year and figure that out. And yeah, so stay tuned for all that this has to come. I have a lot of, you know, ideas still in my notes that I'm going to try out. If the firefighter thing works out, I'm sure that a lot of that content will be related to that in some sense. You know, I've always looked up to Wrangler Star. I've watched him on YouTube for years and years and years, and he has a career, you know, used to, at least in wildland firefighting. His sons are doing it now, and I admired him. I admire his sons for doing what they're doing. They're about my age, I think. So It's cool that you know, we got out west, and I've talked to so many guys who've done it, and women also who've done it, and they all enjoyed it. It's hard work, but it's going to give me kind of a new chapter in my life, I think, and it's going to give me, you know, some good footing as well to maybe put some roots down. So anyway, I think I have rambled on long enough. I'm getting towards where my destination's at here in a little bit, so I appreciate you watching. If you have watched this long, down below, let's see, let's think of a word. How about you type in the comments cactus somewhere, since I'm in the desert. Put something about a cactus down below. I just want to see if you have watched this far and enjoyed it. Let me know. You know, share it with your friends, share it with your other knife people, nerds, whatever, that kind of thing. Anybody who watches the channel, yeah, I appreciate you, and it's been a good year. I've enjoyed it immensely. So I'm gonna sign out. This is Doggone John. We'll see y'all in the next one.